We now have tournament deck results telling us that this is the best way to play a Lightning deck right now. The Toronto Regionals wrapped up a little bit ago, and the list that I want to talk about here is not the first place list, but the 43rd place list. This is a Lightning deck piloted by Jesse Parker, yes, that Jesse Parker, the one who placed third at the 2024 World Championships with another Electric deck, and there are a lot of choices here that kind of contradict what people have been saying about Lightning decks for a while. There's no Electric here, there's no Manectric here, those are both cards that people have really liked playing in Electric decks recently, and this deck performed very well for a Lightning deck while also not using any of those cards. So I want to talk about that. Let's go into the card by card. So we're playing two Magnemite here, one from Mega Evolution, which has 70 HP, and one has 50 HP from Paldea Evolved. The 50 HP one has Magnetic Charge, which can charge up our attackers in a pinch. That's why we're playing that one, but again, these guys are mostly interchangeable. We care about evolving them into Magneton. Magneton is a very powerful card for its Overvolt Discharge ability. This allows us to put 3 basic energy from our discard pile onto our Lightning Pokemon however we want, but Magneton knocks itself out. A lot of people would tell you that they'd rather play Electric over this card. Let's talk about why Magneton is better. First of all, it's faster. Electric can only bring back 1 lightning energy per turn. Magneton can bring back 3. That's really strong. Second, Magneton is just so much more versatile. Electric only attaches to the bench, and also, it has that 2 retreat cost, so you're probably playing Air Balloon with it as well. Now, there's all these moving parts you have to account for. Magneton doesn't care about that. Just use the ability, put them energy wherever you want, and you're ready to go. Also, Magneton does knock itself out, but that's not a big deal for us. Most of our deck is comprised of 2 prize Pokemon, so giving our opponent 1 prize card does not change the math when it comes to winning them the game. Furthermore, this clears up a bench space for us, which is really good when you look at just how many support Pokemon we're playing in this deck. And going even further than that, giving our opponent 1 prize card is arguably beneficial because it helps out a lot for both Zekrom EX and Bloodmoon Ursaluna EX. Lastly, and most importantly, Electric is kind of slippery. It's an eel. You can't really hold it in your hand. It'll like wriggle around. And Magneton is very sleek, very smooth, very easy to hold, and magnets are quite attractive. So, and we have 3 Pokemon that could be charged up by Magneton, first of which is Miraidon EX. This card has the Tandem Unit ability, which allows us to search our deck for 2 basic Lightning Pokemon and put them onto the bench. Usually that will be a Magnemite and an Iron Hand, but it can get Zekrom, it can get another copy of itself, so there's some options there. This does have the attack Photon Blaster. It's not great, but hitting for 220 is good enough in a lot of cases. Snipes the Fezandipiti, snipes the Ogerpon. There are times in which this attack will come in clutch. We also have Iron Hands EX. This card has Ampy very much, hits for 120, and if we take a knockout with his attack, we take 1 more prize card. The 120 for 4 energy is very low, but because of Magneton, we can charge this up very easily, and we can just attack and take a knockout early on in the game. We're playing a bunch of gusting cards. We want to bring in our opponent's evolving basics, and with this we can get an extra prize card from taking them out. This allows us to snowball our games into a win very quickly. Finally, we have Zekrom EX. This card is very cool. It's from Black Bolt. Voltage Burst does 130 damage, but 50 more for each prize card our opponent has taken. So we bring this card in after our opponent has taken out one of our EXs. We probably use Magneton's ability already. Our opponent will have 3 prize cards remaining at that point, and at that point Zekrom is swinging for 280 damage. That's really good. Finally, we have Bloodmoon Ursaluna as our final attacker here. We play this in the late game, of course, to attack for cheap, and we're playing a copy of Defiance Band to power up Ursaluna's damage to 270. That's very good, specifically against Goldango. Going into the rest of the list, we have 2 Squawkabilly EX because we don't want to prize it, 1 Latias EX, 1 Mew EX, 1 Fezandipiti EX, and 1 Iron Bundle. For the trainers, we have 4 Bossasaurus, 4 Professor's Research, 4 Carmine, 4 Electric Generator, 4 Nest Ball, 4 Ultra Ball, 1 Switch, 1 Night Stretcher, 1 Super Rod, 1 Prime Catcher, 1 Defiance Band, and 15 Lightning Energy, which we have to play just to prevent our Electric Generators from whiffing. Only other thing I want to talk about with this list here, Night Stretcher and Super Rod are our only forms of recovery in the deck. That's very sparse, especially considering we're on Squawkabilly, Research, and Carmine. We're going to be discarding a lot of cards, and we're not really going to be able to get them back. Look at the deck your opponent is playing, recognize which cards are going to be useful here, recognize which cards will be liabilities, and be smart both about your bench space and about what you put in your discard. Finally, last but not least, I do have some very good news. Last time, I said that only 1% of my viewers were subscribed. We have now doubled that number to 2%. This is a really big deal because, by my math, it'll take only 7 weeks for us to reach 256% of my viewers being subscribed. So let's keep it up, gang. Alright, let's get into the gameplay. So here we are up against Toadbox. This is a deck that has some higher HP basics, so sometimes it can be awkward for us to actually break through, but where there's a will, there's a way. We're going first this time, and this is a really good hand, so we're already off to a good start. We lead Mew, and our opponent leads Pecharunt. We start our turn off by drawing into Miraidon. That's already crazy. I will bench that right away. We definitely want to use Tandem Unit here. We can get Iron Hands and Magnemite straight from the deck. We'll bench Zekrom, and let's go for Electric Generator. Oh, we hit 2. We're just too good at the game, it seems. We're going to attach both of those right onto Iron Hands. Let's put a 3rd energy onto Iron Hands. Let's Nest Ball next. We'll get Squawkabilly here. We'll use Restart. We'll draw 1 card. Professor's Research doesn't really do anything for us, so let's just go straight for the Squawkansies and get a new hand of 6. And those are pretty good. Obviously, we could Carmine to draw out even more cards, but I mean, come on, look at everything else here. It's definitely worth it to just hold on to this. Our opponent's going to go and they'll draw. They start with Arvin to get the Precious Trolley and the Turbo Energize. I feel like we've seen this a million times already. They'll throw out the Precious Trolley, they'll get Mega Absol, Latias EX, Mega Kangaskhan, Monkey Dory, and Psyduck. Pretty scary set of 5, but it's not all bad. They'll put both a Darkness Energy and a Turbo Energize onto Mega Kangaskhan, and they'll go straight for the Turbo Energize. This is one of the things about this deck that is pretty good for us. They're never going to be using a real attack during their first turn, so we have at least one turn of safety guaranteed to us. Anyhow, it's back to us and we'll draw. We can play down Magneton, but Psyduck's Stamp actually stops us from using Magneton's ability, which is really awkward. That said, this is honestly really good for us here. We can attach Return onto Iron Hands, and now we can just go for Boss Orders. We'll bring in that Psyduck. We can use Ampy very much, take an easy knockout. That gets us our first 2 prize cards of the game, and now that Psyduck is gone, so we can use Magneton's ability next turn without any problem. Off the prizes, we pull 2 more Electric Generator. That's kind of stupid, but sure. Anyways, our opponents go and they'll draw. They'll put a Bravery Charm onto the Mega Absol. That's a bit unfortunate for us. It means that they're no longer in Zekrom range. They'll continue with Arvin. They'll grab Earthen Vessel. Vessel will pitch Erica's Invitation. That's not a card you see too often. They'll get 2 Darkness Energy off of this, they'll put 1 onto the Absol, and they're going to go for Counter Catcher, bringing in our Magneton. They can call out Darkness here, taking out Magneton. That actually really sucks for us. We can't use its ability anymore, and they get to look at our hand and discard a card, so there goes our boss's orders. Bit rough. We'll promote Mew here for the free retreat, and we'll draw. And another Lightning. We'll start with our Electric Generators. We hit another 2. That's again crazy. We'll put both of those right onto Zekrom. I'll Nest Ball next. We can get Fez, hopefully draw into something good, and we'll go for another Electric Generator. This time we whiff, but not really a big deal. Now our Zekrom is fully charged up. We can restart for 1. Latias is fine, but we're probably not using that. Let's go for Flip the Script and get 3 more cards, and that's exactly what we need. Well, let's just boss's orders. We'll bring in the Monkey Dory. Mew retreats into Iron Hands, and Ampy very much takes another 2 prize cards for us. We'll take these next 2 prizes, and we're probably not going to be using those, but not terrible. Well, it's back to our opponent, and they're in a very bad spot right now. They'll bring in Kangaskhan. They can run errand for 2 more cards, and they'll go for their own boss's orders this time, bringing in the Mew. There's a second energy onto Kangaskhan, and now they retreat right into Absol. Of course, Claw of Darkness comes down. That's a knockout onto our poor little Mew, and another card from our hand is gone. Goodbye, Professor's Research. Well, in this case, we'll promote Zekrom. We're still swinging for 280, so if we have any gusting, we do win the game. We'll draw, and welcome back, Professor's Research. Okay, we'll start with Tandem Unit here. We'll get another Magnemite just for deck thinning. Our goal here is to draw into Prime Catcher. If we can get that, then we are in fact able to win the game right now. We'll go for Ultra Ball next. We'll get rid of Lightning and Nest Ball. We'll just grab Squawkabilly. Again, we're not using this card. We're just planning on deck thinning as much as possible before going for this Professor's Research. We'll discard our hand, get 7 more, and we don't even need to use Fezandipiti. There's the Prime Catcher right there. We'll use it. We can bring in their Pecharunt and our Iron Hands. Then we'll retreat right back into Zekrom, and a simple Voltage Burst takes the knockout, winning us the game. Feels good to draw into literally everything you need whenever you need it. For our next match, we're up against Gardevoir. We're going first, and this hand is actually really good. And more than that, your opponent also mulligans, so we're feeling really good right now. We'll draw 1 off of our mulligan. A second Nest Ball is also really good. Our opponent leads Monkey Dory, we lead Squawkabilly, and let's see what we can do. Ultra Ball, again, crazy draw. Let's start off with Nest Ball here. The obvious pick is you get our Miraidon onto the board. We can also check our prizes here. Zekrom is in the deck. We love to see that. Let's go straight for the Tandem Unit. We can get our Magnemite and our Iron Hands on the board. Next, we'll Nest Ball here. We do want to deck in a little bit. We'll put in Latias just so we can retreat easily later on. Let's attach Return onto Iron Hands, and now let's go for Ultra Ball. We'll pitch the Lightning and our Bloodmoon Ursaluna. I don't think we'll be needing those too much, and we'll get Iron Bundle from the deck. Really, at this point, I'm just thinking like, I don't know what I want here, and I'd pick Iron Bundle because if I need the bench space, I can at least discard it very easily. Now let's follow up with Electric Generator, and we hit 2. Oh, that's so crazy. I will put both of those right onto Iron Hands, and let's go for Carmine. We get 5 more cards here. These are good, but I think we can do a little bit better. Let's go for Squawk and Seize. Also gets that Lightning in the discard for Magneton, and this is a much better hand. From here, we'll just pass it to our opponent. They start off with Nest Ball for Latias. I know why people do this, but I personally really do not like Latias and Gardevoir. Maybe that's an unpopular opinion. Our opponent's going to follow up with Arvin to get Secret Box and Bravery Charm. They'll go straight for the Secret Box. They can pitch Watchtower, Psychic Energy, and Rare Candy. Pretty reasonable picks. And they get Nest Ball, Bravery Charm, Willow's Determination, and Artisan. They're going to Artisan for a Ralts. That's fine. They're going to Nest Ball next. That gets them their Frillish from the deck. They can put a Bravery Charm and an Energy right onto Frillish. They're going to attach a Bravery Charm onto Monkey Dory as well, I guess just because they feel like it. Thanks to Latias, they can freely retreat into Frillish and use Oceanic Gloom to item lock us for the turn. Well, that sucks, means we can't use Magneton anymore. But on the other hand, we also have 3 boss's orders in hand, which is really stupid. Unfortunately, we cannot use Ampy very much, but we do have an attack ready to use with Iron Hands. Let's use boss's orders, bring in that Ralts, and take the knockout with Arm Press. When we're playing against these evolving decks, our main goal is going to be to chase down their evolving basics and prevent them from actually going all the way into their powerful stage 2s. We pick a lightning energy off of the prizes, which is also, again, really good. It means we will have the amp online for next turn to potentially take 2 prizes off the next routes. They'll Artisan for a route and they'll lose determination to get 8 more cards. They'll put a Darkness onto Monkey Dory and just item lock again. We don't mind this very much at all. We'll draw another lightning energy, is just fine. We'll put this onto Iron Hands and we'll use the other Bossasaurus in hand, bring in the routes again. Let's keep denying Gardevoir, and this time we get to take 2 prizes thanks to Amp you very much. Our opponent's going to bring in Frillish again. They're going to keep doing what they've been doing. They bench another Monkey Dory from the hand. They'll Artisan here for the 3rd routes. Now they're just going to go over Iono. What, do you think I had the 3rd Bossasaurus in hand already? That's kind of crazy. I mean, if you did, you'd be right, but still. Anyway, Lightning Energy doesn't really matter too much for us, but having the Magneton there is really nice. They're going to Earthen Vessel, pitch a Psychic, get 2 more. Earthen Vessel, pitch another Psychic for a Psychic and a Dark. That will go right onto the 2nd Monkey Dory, and they'll just continue their item lock shenanigans. Okay, well, this is fine. We'll draw. We don't have access to Gusting anymore, but I mean, overall, we're doing okay. We'll Hyper Blower here. I know this is weird, but I want to Tandem Unit to bring in Zekrom and charge it up. In order to do that, we need to have free bench space. We'll Tandem Unit to get the Zekrom. This also shuffles our deck, meaning that now our boss's orders could be closer to the top. We'll play down Magneton. From here, we'll retreat into Miraidon. I know I said I wanted to charge up Zekrom, but to take out the Latias, we have to do this instead. We'll go for Overvolt Discharge here. We'll charge up our Miraidon. Our opponent takes a prize, but I don't really mind. We'll put an energy onto Zekrom, and let's just Photon Blaster and take the knockout. We'll take 2 prize cards here. Now we only have 1 left. We have 2 fully charged attackers plus the Zekrom we're building towards. If we draw into boss's orders at all for the rest of the game, we basically just win from here. Now our opponent's going to bench Mew, bench Clefairy, and attach to Frillish. Their goal here is to use Mystery Garden to draw as many cards as possible. With this, they get a clean 4. That's pretty dang nice, and that includes a Rare Candy Gardevoir combo, which they can play right now. They'll follow it up with Earthen Vessel, pitching a Psychic to get nothing, and they'll continue with Psychic Embrace to charge up the Frillish. From here, they'll Adrenabrain. They'll move the damage from our Frillish onto the Iron Hand, and the second Adrenabrain moves the remaining 10 damage right onto the Zekrom. Now they can throw it on their Jellicent. That's a little bit scary. They'll restart for 2, and finally down comes Iono, getting rid of our hand, which we don't really have much playable here, so I guess it's not a big deal. They'll get a new hand of 5 though, and we get another Magneton, which we cannot use. They'll continue with Counter Catcher now. That does allow them to bring in the Iron Hands and take the knockout. That's a little bit unfortunate, but I'll be honest, I really don't feel too bad about all this. Our opponent takes 2 more prize cards. Now if we can charge up Zekrom, somehow we win, but that's probably not happening. We'll draw. We get Carmine. That's really good. We could technically Miraidon for another Magnemite and then try to evolve it next turn, but our opponent only has 3 prize cards left, so that probably won't be an option. Instead, we'll go straight for Carmine and get some more cards. And there's a boss's orders. That's actually really nice. We'll put the Lightning onto Zekrom. We'll retreat into Miraidon here. And now we kind of have our opponent in checkmate. They can only take out 1 of our big EXs next turn. If they take out the Miraidon, then all we need to do is draw into an energy card to win the game. But if they take out our Zekrom, all we need to do is draw into Gusting to win the game. And we already have that Gusting in hand. So because of that, I feel pretty good here. Our opponent's of course going to start off with the Adrenabrains to move the damage off of their Jellicent. 30 goes to Zekrom and 30 goes to Miraidon. Again, I don't really mind this too much. Psychic Embrace charges up the Gardevoir and they'll retreat right into it. They're hoping they can tank a hit with Gardevoir, and as long as they have just 1 extra turn, they'll be able to win. They'll boss doors into Zekrom to take that out, but unfortunately for them, we still have Miraidon. We'll draw and we get Fez, so we were basically guaranteed to draw into what we need here. In any case, let's just boss doors. We'll bring in the Mew and we'll Photon Blaster, and that wins us the game. And we're back. Gosh, this is a cool deck. This is so cool. It's really fun. This is a very quick deck. First of all, your games end very quickly. Either you're winning or you're losing. And if you're looking for a deck to climb the TCG Live ranked ladder, I think this is a very good pick just because it feels cool to play. It feels like charging up these crazy attackers right away, gusting in all your opponent's stuff and doing big damage. It's fun. It's cool. I really enjoy it. It's also just nice to play a good deck after I've been playing so many bad decks, but whatever. Anyway, yeah, as always, thank you very much, and I will see you hopefully next week. Bye-bye.